Animal holds an interesting place in my heart. At the end of 2024, I decided I wanted to create a Let's Play channel, which I now realize is totally not popular on YouTube anymore for reasons like streaming existing, but I initially wanted to because I had recently played Outer Wilds, which is still changing my life, and yes, that video is coming, and after completing it, I wished I had a record of that experience, so I thought Let's Plays would be a good way to do that. And then I decided editing Let's Plays videos was too tedious and time-consuming, and for that cost was ultimately not giving me the satisfaction for which I had hoped. Those videos are gone, don't look for them. But still, it was a good experiment and I learned from it. And the first game I played was Animal. If you don't want spoilers for this game, then don't watch the screen. But every reference to the game that I say out loud will be vague or out of context enough that you can still find enough enjoyment out of this essay if you choose to still listen to it. This game was a blast. It had so much of what I enjoy. The puzzles, the exploration, the ambience, the wondering what the well even means, the sense of being lost no matter how often I checked my map. It's a beautiful Metroidvania. It nailed those moments where you get healthily lost on a new path until you discover your way back to where you were and your mind clicks the new into place with the familiar. And these paths take you to all sorts of environments with their own mysterious air and creatures and a sense of chaos and natural structure all at once. And you get to figure it all out, discover it all, experience it all. What added even more to my enjoyment is that it felt like just the right level of challenge. The puzzles were easy when teaching you a new mechanic, then ramped up the difficulty to test how cleverly you can apply said mechanic. And some were meant to be easy, but my dummy dumb monkey brain wasn't making the connection I needed to be making, despite already using the solution to solve similar problems in the past. But then when I found the solution, I could laugh off how long it took me, and that became part of my journey. In the end, each challenge was a delight to take on because the solutions felt so right in my soul to solve. Yep, every puzzle was a delight. Every one of them. I promise I did not put off anything. Trust. But even running from the dog, which is not a cat, and I definitely knew that from the beginning, don't ask me, was ultimately a fun challenge because I found my own solution that surpassed the skill issue hurdle I wasn't jumping. Seriously, everything about this game is just perfect. Every moment of this game confirmed it was made for me. That's such a beautiful relationship to have with a piece of art. Chef's kiss. Kiss the developer Billy Basso on the head like I would a newborn baby. I love Animal. And then I beat it. The well goes deep. This is obvious as you play. When the credits roll, there will be rooms you haven't discovered or figured out, and if you think you've found all there is to find before beating it, no the hell you haven't. For me, there were so many things I didn't find, like all the eggs, the ball, this room, the remote, the wheel, somehow, the cat, no not that one, but you know the one I mean, the gopher, the swordfish, the dead fish, what's behind the locked door, the cute ways the bunnies move their ears, nor the belly of the beast and everything inside, and I never would have figured out that one of the puzzles was a community puzzle, a term I had never heard before playing this game, I guess. And looking back, I wish there was an in-game hint that what I was trying to solve was something I was never set up to on my own. And of course, I did not do a deathless playthrough. If you know, you know. After beating the game, I played it a little bit to see what more there was to explore and solve, but in the back of my mind I knew I felt satisfied with my experience and I didn't want to spend more time diving into this game when there were others I was so excited to play. So I swiftly looked up all sorts of puzzle hints to help myself solve the rest of the game faster. But the sheer amount of game remaining quickly became daunting and then tedious to figure out even with help, and so I looked everything else up. I saw just how deep the well goes, and it is incredible. The layers of puzzles upon puzzles was so impressive, and I felt so much more appreciation and respect for Billy Basso because he fulfilled his vision and made something that so many took joy diving deep into. And I felt disappointed, because all of a sudden, it appeared he had never made it for me. And that didn't sit well with me for reasons I couldn't sort through. I felt I had given so much to this game, and it was giving something to me in return, but then it asked for more than I was willing to give. Or maybe what I was even capable of figuring out on my own with my limited experience with puzzles and codes like these. I realized in an instant that my preference only took me so far. Yeah, I guess I'm calling myself lazy, impatient, or maybe even stupid, healthily, but that's not a fair take, I don't think. What bothered me is that I was hoping to have solved most of the game upon finishing it. I'm not a completionist by any means, but I have 2 university degrees technically, and I'm working on my 3rd, so I like to think I'm somewhat smart enough to complete most of a game before calling it good, but what I accomplished in my playthrough didn't amount to even half the length of a 100% playthrough. This was one of those times where I was surprised how small I felt after having such a big experience. And I wondered, am I wrong for how I played the game? Did I miss the point? Was I supposed to go deeper? Could I have figured this all out if I showed the gumption and the rigor? Does this mean I don't actually love the game? Did I not lower my bucket enough? Do I still not know what the water tastes like? But none of those are the right questions. The answers to those are probably obvious. My real question is, why did I feel this way immediately after having the time of my life? I think there's something to say about a thing you love being so much more than what you love about it. When a whole community loves it for reasons you don't care about, but those are the reasons it actually exists, and your reason for loving it puts you into a perceived minority. And even if you don't expect that thing to be perfect for you, you wish it were more so. I think I can illustrate this with The Lord of the Rings. I love the movies. I adore Peter Jackson's extended trilogy. I still marathon those periodically to relive the powerful journey that moved me so much growing up. And it's because of Billy Boyd, wow, 2 Billies in this video. It's because of Billy Boyd's performance that we named our dog Pippin. But holy shiza, I can't stand the books. I grew up reading a different era of fiction, and when I tried to go read Tolkien's masterpiece for the first time a few years ago, I didn't make it past Rivendell. I'm all for descriptive prose, lush worlds, deep lore, quest-style narratives, everything that I love about the movies, really, but there was so much word count between the most core moments of relevance that I felt like instead of walking through Middle-earth, I was crawling my way to Mordor without limbs. So I DNF'd that crap, and I still cried during the journey to the Grey Havens. I realize this isn't a perfect example, because in many circles, my being in favor of the movies would easily put me in the majority. And honestly, as legendary as these books are, being a fan of The Lord of the Rings in general puts me in the minority compared to the population of the entire planet, or even just my larger home community. I mean, more often than not, when someone wants to pet my dog and I tell them his name is Pippin, they respond with, "Oh, like Scotty?" And then their eyes glaze over when I correct them, and I sigh inside. So yeah, the books aren't for me. Not yet anyway, or not the current version of me, but I still have this urge to grow to like them, to explore the depth they have and come to appreciate it, respect it, know it, as intimately as many others I've met have expressed doing so. I wish I could be like them. I still acknowledge what Tolkien's work has accomplished, I just haven't fully experienced and been changed by the source material itself. And I wish I was motivated to feel that. I wish I'd been motivated to explore all the nooks and crannies of Animal Well on my own. But the true depth of the game is more for those who are inclined to turn their puzzle solving up to 11 and beyond, whereas I maybe prefer a solid 6 to 8, depending on the day. So the full experience isn't for me, and I only get to experience Billy Basso's vision to a degree. Honestly, the answer to this question, how am I supposed to regard a game that feels like it was made for me, and yet absolutely not made for me at the same time, is simple. And you've probably been banging your head against the wall waiting for me to say it. You just like what you like, and that's fine. Not everything has to please you. I imagine Billy Basso is listening to this. I mean, who am I kidding? He definitely is not. But if he were, I imagine he'd tell me the way I play is perfectly fine. He'd probably thank me for playing his game, for loving it, for recommending it, for writing about it. So yeah, I should stop stewing over this. But listen, I function off 2 principles. 1, if I feel anything, I feel it deeply. And 2, I'm always feeling something. Okay, that's like 1% joke and 99% hot gas, but you get my point. What bothers me about my playthrough of Animal Well is that it felt like I was only part of the community that enjoyed it, but not really. I gatekept myself, and maybe this feeling was exacerbated by not playing this game immediately when it came out, because I didn't get to see how the community solved all these puzzles in real time, even if it only took them a couple weeks to do it. But even if I was present for it, I gotta admit, I would have still only been observing for the outside, letting them solve it. I'm pretty certain I would not have actively engaged in sharing puzzle hints and solutions, only receiving them. As much as I like puzzles, I don't want to have to spend that much time on them. Or, I don't know. Maybe I would? If I felt I had the time to give to them? Maybe that's my real point. I'm at a time in my life where I want to explore all the best games out there, and that means I don't have time to only play one. I wish there was a way that I could feasibly change that. I suppose the next time I come across a deep puzzle game, like Blueprints maybe, then I can just spend all my time there to my heart's content. But then I wouldn't write these essays, which is doing wonders for my creative fulfillment, and maybe even my therapy. You can't have it all, I guess. That's opportunity cost. And my cost was only enjoying Billy Basso's vision with Animal Well to a fulfilling, but short, extent. But Mr. Goat, I hear you saying, To which I say, Inspector? And then you say, yeah, whatever. There's no problem with how you played. And I know there isn't. But I have such FOMO when it comes to stuff like this. I want to experience it all, solve every puzzle, engage in every creative endeavor, travel to every place, play every game, and even find a way to relate to every person. Lol, that last one's the most impossible on my list, and not because there are billions of people, but because I'm usually never the first one to start the conversation with someone new. I don't know. I guess I have to live with the disappointment of some things being too much for me. Or rather, I have to live with the disappointment of just me, my time, my resources, my patience, being too small for a whole world I wish I could experience. That's what it all boils down to, isn't it? It took me a while to figure that out for myself. And yet, as much of a letdown that often is, I have to acknowledge it's a two-sided coin. If you can't experience everything, then what you do experience is that much more special. So, no, I'm not disappointed in Animal Well. Are you kidding? This game is one of the best I've ever played. Puzzles and exploration together, wrapped up in such a cozy, mystifying Metroidvania, with satisfying movement, art, soundscapes, and level and puzzle design. A game that rewards every answer you find, that has so much implied deep lore, even without supplying a mystery to solve. I love this game, and I love it forever, and I love you, Billy Basso, I could kiss you on the mouth, and I love you, Donkey, and if you watching this know what's good for you, then go Bigmode and play this damn game, because it's just so... That's freaky. Look, there's a lot of light. It's a lot of light. I'm there! So, Myers-Briggs says I have a turbulent personality. I'm not disappointed in Animal Well. I could never be. It's a game for me. I'm only disappointed in the limitations of life and my own preferences that push me away from experiences that otherwise do look amazing and like things I could enjoy, even love, if only my personality differed. But I guess that's the point, right? You don't have all the time in the world, nor the appetite. You get to choose the best things to invest your time and money in. Some things you choose are so grand and impactful. Some are small, like a great game that reminds you to look around every once in a while and be filled with wonder. I'm so excited for whatever I discover next, in whatever time I have.
There's some guy out here.
I'm sorry, you gotta die.